Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Charlotte. Wow, that actually feels so good to say, and it feels great to be in front of a camera again. I have really not been posting much. I've been trying to keep up on my weekly Wednesday short, but there has literally been no time in my life to film recently, which is a decision I chose because I took on a job working at a bookstore, and then I've been trying to fit in my school and just reading in general outside of that. But I realized I really do miss filming videos, so even though it is a very dark and cloudy day, I am filming, so hopefully the quality is okay. I'm here to bring you my October reading wrap-up. Because of what little time I've had, I did only read 3 books and 1 novella in the month of October, but they were all pretty solid reads, and I'm excited to share my review with you guys. So the first book that I read was The Princess Academy. I'm going to put my star ratings for these up on the screen because I don't really know right now as I'm talking about them what my exact star rating will be, but I can share with you my review. So for The Princess Academy, I did really enjoy this book. I thought it was a pretty solid middle grade read. It wasn't what I was expecting, especially by looking at the cover. I was kind of thinking it was going to be like the perfect fantasy like selection vibes book, but it actually ended up being a very slow-paced book that took place in the mountains in a like rural mountain town, which just wasn't what I was expecting, and those weren't my expectations, so that did kind of alter my review and my feelings towards it. I thought it was well written, but like I said, it was a little bit slow paced for me, and it just wasn't giving that princess vibe I expected. It was all in this one like room that was the academy up in the mountains, and I thought the characters were pretty well written. It just wasn't my favorite book. Now this is a highly loved book. Even at the bookstore I work at, I have sold a decent amount of these to parents who say this is their kid's favorite series, which just makes me go, why am I not loving it and connecting to it? But I did find the other 2 books in the series on a super amazing deal at a used bookstore for like 75 cents. So I did pick them up thinking that I would continue the series because honestly part of me does want to know what happens. So will I be continuing it anytime soon? Probably not, but I do have those books just in case, and I am glad that I read this book. I thought the whole like magic system was created. It wasn't really magic, but basically the people that lived in the mountain could communicate thoughts to each other by sending memories and singing like a song sort of thing. If that sounds creepy to you or like a spell, it's not in that way at all. It's completely fine. But I did think that was really creative and well written. Like I said, I could ramble about this for a while because I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about this book, and talking through it always helps me form an opinion. But overall, I'm glad that I read this. My rating will be on the screen, and yeah, that's The Princess Academy. Next, I read Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. I did pick this up on release day at my bookstore. Can you see my face? This book it was so good. Also, guys, this is our exclusive edition at my bookstore, so it's like yellow with another like yellow on the spine in the blue, and then also it's signed, which I think is so cool. And I'm not the person to really care about getting a signed book because I don't want to pay for it, but I get 40% off everything that I buy. Well, it's already hardcover, may as well pay a few extra dollars for the signed, and I got a hardcover signed for $14, which I think is pretty good. So yeah, enough rambling about what the book looks like, even though it's adorable. I picked this up because I'm a big fan of Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. It's one of my favorite books ever, and this did not disappoint. It wasn't as clean as Better Than the Movies, which was a bit disappointing, but I did really like the story itself, and I put it this way, and then another booktuber put it this way. Lynn Painter books are like our guilty pleasure because they're just a great way to escape and just kind of like romanticize life in a sense of like what happens in this book could probably never happen in real life because it's all like what somebody would create in their head for a fake scenario, if you know what I mean. But it was really cool, and I never had a desire to read one of these hockey books that are really popular because it didn't seem like it. But I'm like, hey, a clean one, and this is Lynn Painter, which I was gonna buy this book no matter what. So I was like, okay. So I bought it, and I did really enjoy it. Actually, I did enjoy learning about like hockey, and I did enjoy how this took place in winter. This would be an 100% a book I recommend to read in like January because it gave the ultimate winter vibes, talking about the snow and hockey season and all of that, which I thought was super cool. Also, I've been told that I say hockey really weird because of where I'm from, so let me know if you guys can hear that. But anyways, I think I rated this a 4-star. Just because there was a lack of communication between the characters, where they were both kind of keeping something from each other about why they were upset with each other, and it didn't get revealed or talked through until the end, which I wasn't a fan of because I really need them to communicate. But this did follow Liz's cousin, so he was the one with the music playing in his head for every scene, and he was the one who created the playlist for this book, and it was basically just like the male version of Liz, which I thought was super cool, and I did really enjoy this. As you guys know, Better Than the Movies is one of my favorite books because I really relate to Liz in a lot of areas. But our main character, Danny, in this book, she is me. Like, if my name was Danny, this would be me. And I just really liked reading this. There were some lines where I repeated that to myself so many times in my head. And just how what she's gone through from moving a lot and how that impacts her and how that makes her not want to make new friends, I can really relate to that at times, even though I do love moving and I don't think Danny really did. But yeah, overall, this was such a great story. If you have read Lynn Painter, this wouldn't be that bad. But if you're new to romance, I probably wouldn't recommend this. I'd have some cleaner options for you. But of course, it was spice-free. There was no talk of spice. And I left the rest of my content review over on Goodreads and Fable, just so I don't have to list out every single thing. So make sure to go check that out if you aren't interested in reading any of these books whatsoever. I list out pretty much anything that could possibly bother a person, and both of those apps are free, so make sure to go read those reviews. And of course, they'll be linked down below with my other socials. Okay, moving on to a 5-star book. So we've had whatever I rated this, I don't really remember, and then we had a 4-star book that I loved, and then we are about to have a 5-star. So even though I didn't read a lot October, oh my goodness, guys. Do you know what this book is? If you follow me on my socials, you know, but this book is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I just had to repeat that 3 times and try to edit that out because her name is a tongue twister. But if you guys don't know already, she wrote my favorite book ever, The Secret Garden, which you can see behind me. Guys, this book, oh my word. So I kind of left my whole story of this over on Goodreads and Fable, but basically I'm going to give you the fast version. I started this book a few years ago and was absolutely in love with it. I love the lush, rich descriptions of life at this fancy boarding school where she was sent all of these dolls and outfits and had these amazing meals and learned French. Like, it was so fun to read about. Not boring at all. Like, just the best, like, rich life you'd want to read about from the 1900s, like 1910s. And then something extremely tragic happened, and I did not want to read it anymore because I was listening to it before bed and it was making me so sad, because Frances Hodgson Burnett just has a way of writing that just makes you deeply feel every emotion she's writing about. So then I didn't pick up the book for a while, and then the other day I was like, you know what, I'm not going to meet my reading goal. I should start going back and reading some books that I softy enough or put on hold. So I picked this back up, and guys, I have pictures. I would take out my phone to take pictures of almost every page because there was something she would write that would either speak to me so deeply, or I just could not figure out how she came up with the words to describe that feeling or that place. She is just a masterful writer. If you want to get into classics and just be shocked by the words and the way they describe things, but without being overwhelmed, pick up a children's classic by this author. The Secret Garden or A Little Princess would be my recommendation. But again, I could relate to this character in a lot of areas. Obviously not like what she had gone through, but she really reminded me of my childhood. I had an amazing imagination like her where I could make anything come to life and I could actually like see it with my eyes. And one day that just went away and I was really sad about that. So reading this book just brought back all of those memories of the places I would go to and the ways I would make any situation something else to be pretend. I just loved reading about this and knowing that there was somebody else out there that went through that same childhood, which was probably this author because she knew how to write it so masterfully. So I just love this so much. Please go and check this out if you want to just be overwhelmed by an amazing book. I feel like I was just so impressed by the writing. If you are like me and you read all these modern books and you're like, what am I reading? This is just like trash. This is the real deal right here, guys. This is fiction, perfectly done, and oh, it was so atmospheric, so beautiful. I loved the ending, and it was even like a cool plot twist and reveal at the end, which I really wasn't expecting. I had read majority of this at a coffee shop I'd go to each week with my family, and I would like audibly gasp, or I would set down the book and look around, and my dad was like, what is your book about? So of course I had to tell him, but it was such a cool read. I'm so glad I read this, and The Secret Garden is still my favorite book ever, but this is coming really close right behind it. So obviously I need to read more books by this author. But overall, if you're looking for a new book to read, if you choose to read any of the books from this video, this should be the one. And by the way, this gorgeous copy is from Barnes & Noble, I think. I bought it a while ago, but I just kind of want to show you. So like, this is the cover. Okay, it's focusing on my face. Focus on the spine. It's not focusing on the spine, it's only focusing on me. And then this is the beautiful back as well, and then the gold right here. Is it gonna focus on the spine? There's the spine. Look how pretty. And then it also has I'm gonna show you guys, it has just like my Secret Garden copy, original artwork, very pretty, and yeah, it's just a beautiful format, made the reading experience so much better. And I just, honestly, this is one of those books I didn't actually want to end, which I've only felt that feeling like 2 or 3 times in my life reading. I'm usually like, okay, I want to finish this book so I can add it to my list. But for me, I was reading the final pages and I was like, there's no way this is ending. What am I gonna do? I'm still mourning the end of this book, but it was so beautiful and so entertaining. Please go and read this. The writing, I cannot even describe the writing, but overall, yes, this was a 5-star for me, and I'm so glad I read it this month. And to close off the month with, of course, another Lynn Painter, I read a novella that was better than prom. This took place, obviously, the prom scene and then the after the prom scene from Better Than the Movies. Lynn wrote a bunch of novellas that took place in Better Than the Movies, coming from Wes's POV and then just other scenes and such. This one was actually my favorite novella I've read from her so far because number one, it barely had any language, and number two, it actually added on to the story from Better Than the Movies, which I was really shocked about because usually it's just the scene from a different POV, but this actually had an additional scene. And the way that this was written just added a whole nother perspective and oh, that makes so much sense to the scene. Because if you've read Better Than the Movies, I'm just gonna say the penny scene, if you know what I'm talking about, getting Wes's POV in the penny scene was everything. I loved it so much. It was so cool to finally know what he was thinking about because that was such a funny scene. So yeah, I'm really glad I read this. It was about 30 pages, so obviously not a book, but I'm counting everything towards my reading goal at this point. So yeah, that concludes all the books that I read this month. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and I really enjoyed making it for you. Comment down below if you've read any of these and what your thoughts were because as always, I love talking books, and I'll see you guys hopefully in my next video sometime in December. I do have goals of doing Vlogmas, but we know that's not gonna happen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe and follow my other socials. Bye!